prickly pear cutting. This is a cutting that I grew from seed. It is probably my most deadly Opuntia, but unfortunately when I brought it in for the winter, the bottom part died back, and I don't know if I stopped watering too suddenly. I'm not actually sure what happened, but I cut it off and I put rooting hormone on it and I let it dry out for a long time. It might have been sitting in my little plant area for about a month. And honestly, I kind of forgot about it. You can see how it's stretching toward the sun. It was lying on its side like this, kind of on its back, I should say. But that'll straighten out once once I turn it away from the sun, then this part will straighten out. It's also a little bit dehydrated, which in the spring, once I water it again, that top pad will get more hydration, assuming that it takes in the soil and it sends out more roots. But I don't know if you can see, but it looks like there may be the start of some roots on the bottom. If not, it's going to take root once I put it into soil. And that might not happen till the spring. This is not an ideal time to plant it, but I am wearing some really thick rubber gloves to handle this guy. It is really painful. And you can see in my glove I already have some prickles right there. Some spines have just come right off, and that would be my finger if I weren't wearing gloves. But I have this size pot. Opuntias grow pretty quickly, so this is probably a 3-inch pot. I always put a little piece of coffee filter at the bottom so that once I water it, all the dirt doesn't come out. And I am going to plant my Opuntia cutting into a mix of it's quite a rich soil. It's called bumper crop, and I've mixed it with a lot of vermiculite. So vermiculite keeps it from clumping together, keeps the soil from clumping, and it is going to help it be a more well-drained mix. So I'm going to hope this takes root in here. I'm going to put this here just like this. It's not that far down in there, but it's far enough down that it's gonna stand up on its own without support, I hope. So again, let me put it over here. I don't think you can see it. So I've put it probably maybe halfway into the soil, and I'm going to fill it in with soil all the way around it. Hopefully this will stand up on its own. I really don't expect to see any progress, or it's hard to tell under the soil, but you don't see the root growth. But it probably will not grow much of a root system until it starts getting water in the spring and more warmth and more sunlight overall. But like I said, this is not an ideal time to plant, but if you have a cutting and you've had to, I don't want to let it sit for another couple months without a pot altogether. So that is why I am putting it into the soil now. I will not be watering it until the spring. All cacti need to have that hibernation period. And if I watered this in its hibernation period when there's not much sun, it would start to rot again. So I don't know why it rotted in the first place, but I'm hoping to save it by treating it as a cutting, putting it into some soil. I'm going to face it with this part away from the sun, so hopefully the pad at the top will straighten out. And like I said, once it starts growing and having more water in the springtime, this little dehydration on the top pad is just gonna fill right in. They actually do drink a lot, so it'll stay dry till the spring, and then hopefully this guy is gonna bounce back. I really hope so, because I did grow this one from seed, and although I have been stuck by it many times, I am kind of fond of it. It's always fun when you can grow things from seed. So if I lose it, it'll be a bit of a disappointment. But there it is. I'll pot it up And I'm going to put that back with my other cacti. Hopefully the top pad will straighten out, and we'll see how it does. I'll do an update in the spring. Thanks again for watching, guys.